Welcome to the Constitution Pt.3, a series where we will take an in-depth examination of the Constitution from start to finish. If you have not listened to Part 1 or 2 of the series, I recommend you do it first. I will put the links down below. Article 1, Section 3. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature thereof, for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. So right off the bat, we have an amendment which is found in Amendment 17 and states, the Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state elected by the people thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. So the big difference there was they now, in Amendment 17, made it that the people vote for the senator as well as the representative. So that's a huge change and a push for the government being more of we the people. And so it goes on to state, immediately after they shall be assembled in consequence of the first election. They shall be divided as equally as may be into 3 classes. The seats of the senators of the first class shall be vacated at the expiration of the 2nd year, of the second class at the expiration of the 4th year, and of the 3rd class at the expiration of the 6th year, so that 1/3 may be chosen every 2nd year. And if vacancies happen by resignation or otherwise during the recesses of the legislature of any state, the executive thereof may make temporary appointment until the next meeting of the legislature, which shall then fill such vacancies. Okay, so the 17th Amendment also amends part of this as well. And where the difference is here. So when vacancies happen in the representation of any state in the Senate, the executive authority of such state shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies, provided that the legislature of any state may empower the executive thereof to make temporary appointment until the people fill the vacancies by election as the legislator may direct. So right here, this amendment feeds off the first part of Amendment 17, talking now that the people will fill the vacancies by election as opposed to the legislator again. So it's just really a correction, taking the power away from the legislator and giving it to the people in the voting for a Senate in their state. And on we go. No person shall be a senator who shall not have attained the age of 30 years and been 9 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state for which he shall be chosen. Okay, so here we see a bit of a difference now in the Congress between the House of Representatives and the Senate, in the fact that now in the Senate you have to be 5 years older than a representative and also been a citizen for at least 2 more years, for the grand total of 9 when it was 7 for a representative. This seems to me to state that there's a bit more severity in the Senate, that the founding fathers felt that this was more of a mature role of the Congress. So that's kind of interesting right there in itself. Back onto it. The Vice President of the United States shall be President of the Senate, but shall have no vote unless they be equally divided. So here we saw this play out just recently when VP Harris had to break a tie over the new budget. Then it continues with, the Senate shall choose their other officers and also a president pro tem in the absence of the vice president, or when he shall exercise the office of President of the United States. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. When sitting for that purpose, they shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside, and no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. So this is an interesting part because, as you know, starting tomorrow, we're going to start an impeachment trial on the former president, Donald Trump. So the interesting part is Chief Justice Roberts has already stated he's not going to have any part with it, anything to do with it, and he's sworn in people of the Senate to pretty much take his place. So the interesting part about that is, does that make this trial unconstitutional on those grounds alone, that the Chief Justice isn't presiding? So it's an interesting question, and it's one that I'm looking forward to see how it's handled, because in other parts of the Constitution so far, it's stated that if it doesn't talk about something, then those rights go to the state. But this isn't a state matter. This is a federal matter. So if it's not stated, can it be done? Because there's nowhere here that states that the Chief Justice can give anybody else the power to fill his role in an impeachment. So curious to see how that plays out. Judgment in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than to removal from office and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. But the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law. Okay, so two big takeaways here is, yet again, let's look at the impeachment that's starting tomorrow. Right here it says, judgment in case of impeachment shall not extend further than to removal of office. He's already removed from office. On January 20th, when Biden became president, Trump was no longer in office. So, this is another big argument that they're having right now is this even legit, or is it too unconstitutional because he's not in office anymore? What do you guys think about these 2 points about it being unconstitutional? Do you think they matter or not? Let me know in the comments. Another takeaway here is that after the impeachment, if the president is impeached and is no longer in office, he can be sued in civil court still for his actions. So he can still be held liable outside of the Senate. So those are all really interesting points. Article 1, Section 4. The times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislator thereof, but the Congress may at any time, by law, make or alter such regulations, except as to places of choosing senators. So this part covers how elections for senators and representatives are going to be run. It's pretty straightforward here, but the part that's interesting about it is it allows Congress to jump in if a state is running it poorly, if there's fear of cheating, or in some way mishandling the election. It's interesting with that because then also with this past election, a lot of people believe there was cheating, but it wasn't for senator or representative. It was for the president. So we'll see later on what the rules and what the Constitution has to say about that. The Congress shall assemble at least once in every year, and such meeting shall be on the first Monday in December, unless they shall by law appoint a different day. So Amendment 20, Section 2, the Congress shall assemble at least once in every year, and such meeting shall begin at noon on the third day of January, unless they shall by law appoint a different day. So the Amendment 20, Section 2 just changed the day that they have to meet. The interesting part about this for me is that you see that it's stating that they have to at least meet once a year. So at the time this was written, government wasn't needed as much as it is today. And I feel in some ways this is how it is now, is over government. That do we really need Congress there all the time, as they are being this looming force over the American people's lives? Now, I completely understand that times have changed significantly since the writing of this, and they need to meet more than once a year. But I'm wondering if there's not some sort of middle ground to keep it from not being as powerful as it is, in the sense that they're there all the time, subcommittees with this, passing this law. Like, can it be whittled down, and at these times that they are in, have it be for things of the utmost importance? And also, I think it's really about time to get rid of career politicians with the enacting of term limits. Being in the government should be an honor, and it's something you do for the people. It should not be the stepping stone onto something greater or a building block to a better career. It's an honor, a duty, and a privilege to serve the government, much the same way as it is in the military. You're doing this out of service to your country, and you don't do it as something that benefits the elite or any one particular group. It should be in benefit of all the people. That concludes the Constitution for today. Tomorrow, I will be having a live broadcast starting at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for discussing the impeachment trial. Then I'll be offering real-time coverage of the trial while we discuss it. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.